Okay, last video of the chapter here tonight. We're going to be talking about linear inequalities and graphing them. Now, we've already graphed them on a number line, so we've seen that. So if x is greater than or equal to 6, okay, we get our number line, we mark 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, close dot because it's equal to, and x is greater than, so we go to the right. Okay, we know how to do that, but notice that's only one variable. Now we're going to graph it in two. Okay, so we're going to have an x and a y-axis. So we'll get into that. We'll get into solutions for those, and then we'll graph several examples and go from there. Okay, here we go. Tell whether the following points are a solution for 5x minus 2y is less than or equal to 6. Well, here you go. It's giving you a point. Again, this is an x, this is a y. Don't make this too difficult. Okay? Just plug in your x and your y and see if this statement is true. Okay? Well, 5 times 0 minus 2 times negative 4 is less than or equal to 6. 0 plus 8 is less than or equal to 6. Is that true? No. Not true. So this is not a solution. Okay, what about 2, 2? 5 times 2 minus 2 times 2 needs to be less than or equal to 6. Well, this is 10 minus 4, less than or equal to 6, so 6 is less than or equal to 6. Is that true? Yes, it is, because it's equal to. 6 is less than or equal to 6. So that one's a solution. Okay. What about negative 3, 8? 5 times negative 3 minus 2 times 8 is less than or equal to 6. Negative 15 minus 16 is less than or equal to 6. That's negative 31 is less than or equal to 6. Absolutely, that one's true. Okay. Next one. 5 times negative 1 minus 2 times negative 7. Again, I'm just plugging in x's and y's. Is less than or equal to 6. Okay, well, negative 5 plus 14 is less than or equal to 6. This is 9 is less than or equal to 6. That's not true. Okay, so these two are the only 2 points that are solutions. Okay, you're just plugging in, figuring out what works. Okay, and we'll use that in our graphing here. And we'll get into this. Okay, now, graphing in two variables the following inequalities. Okay, well, here's our graphing examples. X is greater than or equal to negative 4. Well, first off, we need to graph the line x is equal to negative 4, so we know where we stand. Okay, now, just like if it was less than, we had an open dot. If it was less than or equal to, we had a closed dot. Okay, well, if it's less than, we have a dotted line. If it's less than or equal to, we have a solid line when we graph it. So if we graph the line y equals negative 4, that's a vertical line because it's x equals, it has to go through the x-axis. And it's solid because this is less than or equal to. Now I need to decide where I'm going to shade, because there's going to be lots of points that make this work. Okay? X is greater than or equal to negative 4, so that means I'm going to be to the right. So I shade to the right of my line. Okay? Because x is greater than. Okay? Let's do another one here. Y is less than 2x plus 3. Well, first thing we got to do is graph the line. So I go up to 3. That's my y-intercept. Slope is 2. Up 2 over 1. Hopefully everybody understands this. Now, it's a dotted line this time because it's not equal to. It's just less than. So the line itself is not a solution, so we dot it. Now we need to decide what side of the line I'm going to shade on. Well, here's a trick. Pick a point. Like right here, what's the coordinates of that point? 3, 2. Now that's obviously on one side of the line. Well, if that solution works, then I shade below that line. If it doesn't work, then I shade above the line. Okay, so my y is 2 is less than 2 times 3, because that's my x. Remember, x, y. We'll plug it in just like we did on the last slide. Plus 3. So 2 is less than 6 plus 3. 2 is less than 9. Is that true? Yes, it is true. So we shade down here. And just to illustrate my point, let's pick a point up above it. So that'd be negative 3, 2. Negative 3, 2 obviously isn't in that shaded area, so it should not be true for this. So 2 is less than 2 times negative 3 plus 3. Just plug it in x and y's. 2 is less than negative 6 plus 3. 2 is less than negative 3. Is that true? No, that is not true. So therefore, since this point is not a solution, I shade below. Okay? That's kind of the method. So let's try another one. Okay? First of all, we got to graph this line. Well, we can do it one of two ways. We can either put in the slope-intercept, or we can just find the x and y intercepts. Let's find x and y intercepts. Plug in 0 for x. 3y equals 9. So that means y equals 3. So my y-intercept is 3. Okay, now I plug in 0 for y. X equals 9. Well, that makes it easy. Y-intercept is 9. Solid or dotted? Dotted. Okay. Dotted line here. Now I got to decide where I'm going to shade. Well, pick a point. Okay, pick a point. We'll go up here. That point is 2, oh boy, 2, 6. 2, 6. Plug it in. Plug it in. Okay? 2 plus 3 times 6 is less than 9. 2 plus 18 is less than 9. 20 is less than 9. Is that true? No, that is not true. So don't shade above. Don't shade where the point is. Shade on the side of the line where the point is not, because this was not a solution. Okay? Hopefully this is making sense. Now, yesterday we graphed absolute values. Okay? Well, an absolute value can be an inequality too. So let's go ahead and graph this and then shade. Okay? Here we go. Find my vertex. So that's at negative 3, negative 2 is my vertex. Slope is negative 1. Okay, so that's down 1 over 1 from here. Down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. And it's an absolute value. This is the vertex. So I just mirror it over on the other side. Solid line or dotted line? It's a solid line. Okay, solid line. Good. Now we pick a point, see if it works. Well, you'll find that one of the easiest points to plug in, if it's possible, is 0, 0. Okay? So let's plug in 0, 0, because that's obviously on one side of the graph or the other. So 0 is greater than or equal to negative 0 plus 3 minus 2. So 0 is less or greater than or equal to negative, the absolute value of 3 minus 2. So 0 is greater than or equal to negative 3 minus 2. So 0 is greater than or equal to negative 5. Is that true? Yes, that is true. 0 is greater than negative 5. So I shade above the graph. Okay? That's just the basic rundown of how you graph an inequality in two variables. Okay? You're going to shade because every point in this shaded region will make it work. Because just like we picked an arbitrary point, it worked. Any point I would have picked out here would have worked. So there's a lot of solutions. It's not just the solutions on the line. Okay? If you have any questions, we can obviously do some questions in class and clean up any problems you may have. Okay? We'll see you in class.